think twice before you click on any link. Hacking is all mental. The reason why we keep having scams is because we've not addressed it from a psychological standpoint.
Sarian has taken one of the most complex industries and made it human. After nearly a decade in corporate cybersecurity, she walked away to launch Cybersecurity Girl. With a community of more than 1.2 million people, she's helping others feel safe online.
Cybersecurity sounds like a scary buzzword. It is just protecting yourself online, making sure your data is protected. And it's not for experts, it's for everyday people.
How did you break through the identity gap from corporate to where you are now?
I had to create an alter ego for myself to be comfortable at the beginning. That person just happened to be my true self. My corporate personality was a shell of who I am.
You left a field that is entirely on secrecy. You entered one now that's on being visible. How is that affecting your personal life?
Everything in life is a risk-based approach. I feel like I've locked my life down enough where I don't mind being in the public eye, as long as it's for a good reason.
You're teaching cybersecurity. What is your best advice?
There's 4 pretty basic things. One is...
So this is so amazing. I've been waiting for this interview to make this show happen. Caitlin, thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thanks so much, Hilary. And wow, I need to bring you around everywhere. This was a great intro. I'm pumped, like hyped.
Well, here's the thing. It's a big topic.
Yes.
And for many, it is a scary topic. And you decided to come at it very, very differently. And there was this relaunch moment and there was an identity shift that happened. And I believe that actually every woman has that moment, the one that changes everything. Yeah. Those, tuning into a rich life who, they're the women that are like, oh, I want to do something, but I'm kind of standing on that edge right now. And so I want to talk to them. The conversation is really for those people that are like, okay, I need that shot of inspiration today. But I also want to know, what should I be doing based on your knowledge, based on your experience? So let's take a step back. You had this career that looked super secure, which is really interesting, right? You had global clients, leadership, the kind of success that women are like, oh, what I wouldn't give for that. But what was happening behind the scenes when you actually realized that success, you got to do something different. You have to make a major, major relaunch.
Yeah. So it's funny that you asked that because I think for pretty much my entire life, I always knew I wanted to make an impact in some way, shape, or form. And I honestly had no clue what that looked like. And I feel like because of that, I kind of tried different paths. I've done a lot of different, I was an aerospace mechanical engineer before I did cyber, and I've done a lot of different things, and I kind of tested the water, and I was like, this isn't it. Tested the water, this isn't it. And I really did love cybersecurity because it allowed me to kind of continuously learn. I need to be constantly learning and growing and evolving. If I'm not, then I feel like my life is purposeless, and I don't know if anyone else feels like that. I know that that's not as popular, that's not as common, I guess, as I used to think it was really common, but now I'm not a lot of people are not like that. But I used to just pretty much try everything and put myself in very uncomfortable positions in the sense of a growing and learning opportunity positions. And I would try so many different things. And I got to cyber and I really enjoyed it. But I also had this really huge drive to be successful and to prove to people that I belonged. I feel like that's kind of my whole life was proving to other people that I belonged here. And what I realized is that I was not proving it to other people. Honestly, I just needed to prove it to myself, but we'll get into that later.
That's a huge point right there. And we will definitely get into that.
But I got to I climbed the corporate ladder faster than ever. I got into cyber and I was like, I'm going to be the first woman CISO, ever. I wanted to really lead. I wanted to show women that they could be here, that they had a spot here, and that, and to prove to myself that I belong there too. But I kind of climbed the corporate ladder. I was making a ridiculous amount of money. COVID hit and I had so much extra time. And I was like, what am I doing with my life? Because all I'm doing right now is protecting large corporations from not getting massive fines for data privacy or anything like that. And I was like, I just feel like my life has a bigger purpose. And also I'm so grateful that I was able to slow down because I felt like for, 9, 10 years, I was really in my masculine. I was like really grinding. I was really trying to prove myself. I was really trying to make it to the top, do this, do this. And it really like, it was good because I love learning. So it was not like a total negative thing, but it didn't allow me to kind of like sit in my feminine and really like kind of take that time and like think about, is this what I actually want to do? Or am I just trying to like numb some type of pain or numb where I should be going? And even more of a little bit of backstory. When I was little, I thought I was going to be like a very young mom. Like I used to tell my parents I wanted a million babies. Like I wanted a family and they still hold that to me. They're like, you're in your 30s, one of the million babies coming. Come on.
Yeah, we're ready for it.
My mom's like, come on, Caitlin. So I knew I wanted to be a mom, and I was like, okay, how can I make an impact while allowing myself to have a little bit more of a life that allows me to kind of like go on dates and, put my personal life ahead of work life. And that's really when I started thinking about, okay, well, I would love to be able to create my own business and have my own hours, which will allow me to be more flexible. And if I were to create a business, how can I create a business that's like most impactful? And Cybersecurity Girl started because I was like, I was one of like, it was 5% women in aerospace engineering and like 15% women in cyber at the time. And I was like, I really want women to see themselves in careers in cyber, because I honestly, even before engineering, I was like very convinced that I did not want to be an engineer, because no woman that I ever met was an engineer. I was like, that is for men. I am not like that. Even though I love math and science, I was like, there's no way. I don't belong in that group. And I had to wait until I got to college and started realizing, oh, I could be an engineer. So I was like, how do I impact the next generation? And that's when I started my TikTok channel, which was to get more people into careers in cyber, like let them know what that actually entails, to get more women to see themselves. Those were the two main reasons. And the third reason, and these three pillars have been the same the whole time, was to educate people on how to be safe online. That was kind of like a smaller one, but I was like, that'd be interesting. And now that's like my main focus. And so, and now it's grown. I mean, it's grown even, I think we talked like 4 months ago, and we're at like 2 million now across platforms, which has been amazing.
I mean, that just says it all right there, how fast you're growing.
Yeah.
But I remember when we did talk, you said it was interesting because you're in corporate, you were crushing it. You had this identity around being that, corporate girl.
Like the boss
and then all of a
babe
sudden,
who, prides himself on working like 15-hour days. And then
that was your identity.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you create this company, Cybersecurity Girl. And it was I remember you said, and like they were in direct conflict with each other initially.
Yeah.
How did you break through the identity gap to get from where you were in corporate to where you are now?
Yeah. So when I first started Cybersecurity Girl, and by the way, I always get asked like from, mostly adult men that were like, why did you choose girl? Because like, you're obviously like not a little girl anymore. And I was like, well, I chose girl because I was like, I want girls to see themselves in cyber. And also like women and like lady and stuff don't sound the same. And it was for like TikTok, right? It was like supposed to be like more fun. But I started that and I gave myself a timeline. I said, I'm going to do this. I'm going to post 3 times a day, only on TikTok, by the way. And I called it Cybersecurity Girl because I didn't want anyone to know it was me in corporate. I was like very, very embarrassed.
I love when you said that. Yeah. I love when you said it was almost like you were embarrassed by it. Like hopefully nobody else sees it, but it started to take off.
Yeah. And, but it was still embarrassing. Like when people found out that I did that at work, I would get very mixed reactions, so much so that I actually left a company because one person was like, you're clearly doing this more than like the work that well, we can go into that. But I had to create like an alter ego for myself to even be comfortable doing that at the beginning. And I was like, if this takes off after, however many months, I'll give myself a year, then I know that this is the right path for me. And it took off after like 3 months. But I did have to deal with like a lot of, we're working with like older people in tech that have been stuck in their ways for a really long time, that do not understand social media and especially do not like TikTok. And originally I only started on TikTok because I was like, I don't want any adults to know about this. I just want to reach the next generation, which was on TikTok. So I think it's really interesting. And now I'm like on LinkedIn, which is like, I would never have thought I would have gone on LinkedIn, but I love it. And LinkedIn and Instagram are honestly my main ones now. But it was very, I kind of had to separate myself. And a lot of times I tell people, like, have an alter ego, like have like another version of yourself that you like wish to be or want to be, and like show up as that person every time you go up online. Now that person just happens to be my true self. My corporate personality was really like a shell of who I am, because I couldn't really bring my full self to work, because people wouldn't take me seriously. I'm like a very bubbly, outgoing, individual. And if I did that, people would just be like, who is this girl that just came into the door? Like,
So we talk a lot at Relaunch about creating this 7+ figure identity, because it's not just the money, it's how does it light you up inside? How is it going to cross over into your personal life? And we do lock. We actually lock in. And I love that, you said everyone needs to have this kind of other alter ego. And as you were flipping on, hitting the button that said you're about to go live, and I know Sasha Fierce is Beyonce, where she was like trying to get into being like that person on stage. What did you do? How did you like actually get into that mindset?
Yeah. I mean, I honestly, that mindset is me. Like, there's not very much of a difference between my like full self and that. Like, I was a professional, like I did cheerleading in college, and I was a professional cheerleader. And I was told by my dad, like, oh, you're going to have to quit that, because people, when you get into like cyber, are not going to take you seriously. And I agree. I agreed with him. And I left that. And I felt like I never could bring that part of me back when I was working corporate. And so this was like me just very, very excited about, like, again, the potential that I like, the goals, if those goals were actually happening, and like I'm not receiving, what's the word? If I actually hit those goals, right? That was who I showed up as. Like, I already hit those goals. Like, I am impacting and helping, millions of people every day. And the one thing I used to say to myself when I made a video is, as long as it helps one person, I don't care how the video does. Because at the beginning, it's very daunting to like post stuff and it go to like 5. I think the first few videos was like 10 people, and I'm like, what? I'm spending all this time on making these videos for the last however many months. And I was like, well, it's better than 0, right? Like, at least I'm helping, or at least it got to 5 people. So my goal was always, as long as I help one person, I don't care what the video does. And to like really get excited, like I put on pump up music before, because you can actually, in like videos, you can feel people's energy. Like, that's how you capture people's attention. And if you're like just sitting there like, yeah, so cybersecurity is cool, like it's really important. Like, if you're sitting there and you have 0 energy, everyone else is also going to have 0 energy, and they're going to scroll so fast. So I would just get really excited about like, okay, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to help this many people. As long as even if I only have one person, that's like good enough for me. And like, that was like my motto.
Okay, so here's the thing. You came from and left a field that is entirely on secrecy, right?
Yeah.
Don't give out any information. You entered one now that's built on being visible. What did you learn about kind of getting yourself and being seen, about exposure changes, and how is that affecting both your personal and professional life? Because now you're way out there.
Yeah. I mean, so I feel like I was like not a real cybersecurity professional from that sense, because I never was like afraid of all that stuff. Like, we weren't taught to be afraid of technology when we got in, right? Like, it was only when I realized when we were in there that I'd see the people that were in cyber, like how protective they were and locked down they were from a personal standpoint, that I started getting into it. But even then I was like, I think everything in life is a risk-based approach. And to me, I feel like I've locked my life down enough where I'm not like uncomfortable. So I don't mind. And like, as a cheerleader, I was always in the public too. And to be honest, at work, like, I feel like they put me in a lot of positions to sell products because I was like a cute woman. I feel like, maybe, I don't know, I could be wrong. And I was able
to. Yes, you're definitely a cute woman, and they would be smart to kind of put you out there.
So I feel like I was still put out there a little bit, like, privately behind the scenes. And even like, I've been in the spotlight-ish because of the cheerleaders. It hasn't really impacted me that much. I understand the consequences of what happens when you put yourself online. I understand the consequences of what happens to your family and your friends that all may have a target on their backs too. So I make sure that I like, take certain precautions about that. But I haven't really, that hasn't like impacted me that much because I felt like I was already in the public eye before I got in ish, public eye ish. And just, I don't mind being in the public eye. I just, as long as it's for a good reason.
So you've mentioned the cheerleaders a couple times. Tell us more.
I did cheerleading since like Pop Warner, since I was like 5 years old. And I did like competitive cheerleading. All-star, I competed at the highest level. Then I went to college and I competed at the highest level in college. So like, I don't know if anyone watched the show Cheer, but we went to the same competition. They were in different, a different division than us, but because they were like a public school in that show. But it was like that was what like made me so happy. I think it makes me happy to cheer on and have like a mission and purpose for other people. And that's what I feel like I get really excited about Cybersecurity Girl, because I just want to like empower people. And I honestly feel like I've been inherently a cheerleader like my entire life. And I want to continue because that's what makes me happiest. So like even in college, and then I cheered for LA Galaxy because we didn't have a football team. I'm like aging myself now. We didn't have a football team when I was in college. There wasn't, or not in college, but like there was no professional football team in LA yet. So I cheered for the LA Galaxy, and then I stopped because I was like really getting into corporate. But I do absolutely love, one, I'm a big sports fan. So like I was like, I get paid to be on the field to like watch it from the best seats in the house. Yeah, count me in. And two, it was like, you get to be part of such an amazing community, and you get to like encourage and support and cheer people on. And I always say like, I'm everyone's biggest cheerleader. The whole point of my videos is to like cheer you on and empower you to like understand what's going on and like actually take action if you feel like it's necessary.
Well, you know, what's great about what you're saying is that it ties nicely into you were, then you were trying to like cheer them on and get people fired up as being a cheerleader, and influence can amplify impact, but can also invite a lot of criticism. Right.
Yeah.
So how did you, when you were a cheerleader, and how do you now stay grounded when the internet especially has a ton of opinions about literally everything, every action you're doing?
Yeah. Well, I have a funny story with that. So my first viral video went viral partially because I mispronounced the word, and I mispronounced pwned. I didn't know that pwned was spelled PWNED because I'm not a gamer. I thought pwned was like PON. Anyways, so I was like talking about this website that they can go on to check if their data was leaked. And I had so many people in the comments just like destroying me, being like, she's an idiot. Like, how can she say she's like a cyber expert when she doesn't even know how to pronounce pwned, like all this stuff. And I was like on the verge of a meltdown. I was like, the last thing I want is for people to think I'm dumb. Like that was a huge issue. That's like something that I need to work on. It's like a heart moment. I never want to think people are dumb, or I never want people to think that I'm dumb. And I think that's been like my whole life. But my friend was like, Caitlin, it's not bad. You're still helping people. Like your mission is you definitely are helping people. This is like, if anything, it's getting like more people to understand how to do this. So just leave it up. And ever since then, I was like, you're right. I've only deleted one video, and that's like completely separate. It was not really like about the comments. I think people just took it the wrong way, and I didn't want anyone to think something differently. But I don't ever look at my comments unless someone tells me like, hey, people are like blowing this video up for XYZ. I don't look, because again, my mission is, as long as I help one person. And if I feel like when I'm posting the video, or like while I'm making the video, that it's going to help one person, then I don't really care the outcome. I don't care the views. I don't care the comments. I don't care what people say, because I know that it's going to help one person. So that's what I usually do.
Well, when you're talking about, that kind of that idea of like, I don't want anyone to think I'm dumb.
Yeah.
It goes back to what you said earlier about like, you want to belong. And if you're dumb, you're not going to be belonging. And I think a lot of people listening, we have limiting beliefs that start when we're young that keep us kind of held back in what we're doing. And people just assume like, oh, think positive, or think your way around it, or keep saying, I'm smart.
Right.
And it'll just change. But the way our brain is wired, it won't.
Yeah.
It won't. I call them beliefs underground surfacing, your bugs. And your bugs are always going to come up when, especially like when you're really feeling great about life and everything, your subconscious is like, I'm going to have you deal with this right now. And that bug that I don't feel smart enough, I don't feel, I feel like I'm dumb, I don't feel like I belong, kind of hits you.
Mm-hmm.
And when it hits you, so you just started bringing it up, you could tell like emotionally you're still attached to that bug. How do you get yourself, how do you push yourself to kind of avoid going there? Avoid like, okay, wait, I know logically this isn't a good thing for me, but from a neuroscience perspective, you got to work on it. You can't just think it and it'll be gone. It does take, our brains are wired that it takes 62 to 67 days to actually like literally eliminate it from your life, which when you think you were saying, this has been going on since you were young, it's been there for a long time.
Oh yeah.
So what do you do? What do you do right now when that like, I don't want to feel like I'm dumb. I don't feel like I belong. What do you do? How do you handle it?
Well, the dumb thing, yeah, it's definitely like, when you always feel like you get there, but you're like just short every time. So I feel like it's been like re-enhanced every kind of throughout my years as I've grown up. And so even like I never started realizing it until I started feeling like, why do I always have to prove myself in conversations? Like people ask me what I do, and the last thing I want to tell people is an influencer, because I don't want them to think I'm a dummy, because I honestly don't have the best, like I never had the best idea of an influencer either. And so I'm like, okay, every time I would tell people I'm an influencer, I'd have to like be like, oh, but before that I was like an aerospace engineer. And, like I had to like kind of revert back, and I'm still working on it. I don't really know how to fix it, because it is like, that is like probably my biggest like bug, like you said, of I never want to have people think that I like don't belong or that I'm dumb. And I somehow maybe it's because I somehow got here because I'm pretty or whatever that is. I just want people to feel like, I've worked hard and I belong here, including myself. And I've worked on that a lot. I just don't, but it's still an issue. Like it still happens pretty much every time I introduce myself to people. I'm like fighting back, trying to like, say what my actual full credentials are. And I'm like, they don't need to know my full credentials. Like it's fine if I just say I'm an influencer, but what do you think we should, like, how can I help myself rewire my brain a little bit? Like, what's the best way to do that?
Well, in my book, I actually walk through the belief blaster.
Okay.
It's a 5-step process that goes through literally taking it from that point where you identify the bug and then you blast it. And then you have to do a reprogramming. It's a 3-part. You do it little bits each day. You build on it, and you have that new empowering belief that you're actually putting in and replacing it. So cool. And we have courses that you could relaunch.com, the relaunch.com. You can check it out, because it is. Everybody has bugs.
Yeah.
Everybody. And I laugh because I've only met one in my 25 years of coaching. This woman that reported in a Fortune 50 company, reported right to the CEO. And she says, I don't have a bug. And I said, okay. She said, I've been working on myself for a really long time. I said, okay. Well, the people who work for you have bugs. And wouldn't it be interesting if you could literally identify what bugs they have, so that you can help them manage to it? And she's like, okay, I get it. Yeah. But I really want to jump in, because you are just such a wealth of information, and you're teaching cybersecurity, but you're also really teaching self-protection. I mean, you're helping people protect themselves. I'd love all these videos you've done, all this like impactful, all the TV shows, all these different things. What is your best advice right now that you're like, hey, these are my 3 tips that you all need to know?
Yeah. So one is, I want to just preface that like cybersecurity, it sounds like a big, scary buzzword. And I know that most people are like, I don't even want to touch that. I don't even know what that means. That doesn't pertain to me. But cybersecurity is just like protecting yourself online. It's online security. It's online safety for your family, making sure your data is protected. And it's not for experts. It's literally for everyday people like yourself. And so from that, because I feel like a lot of people tune out sometimes when I'm like, oh, cybersecurity, like I don't even, and that is a total normal reaction. Because if someone said like, oh, I'm an astrophysicist, I'd be like, I don't even know, what are you talking about? Like, that's not even like close to being where I would be. So cybersecurity is not for experts; it's for everyone. And it's really simple. There's like 4 simple things that you can do, and it's pretty much like almost every video circulates around this. We have like there's probably a large like 10-step thing that you can do, but there's 4 pretty basic things. One is to have strong passwords, and I will die on my hill with that. And I hate saying that because it's very annoying to say. I feel like we say that all the time, and you know, but it's true. So if you have,
Well, and I also think people are like, oh my God, I know I should change my password, but if I change my password, I won't remember my password.
yeah,
It's a huge problem.
yeah. So I use a password manager personally. I'm like, I don't want to create like crazy passwords. I don't want to remember them. So password managers are super important. If you're like, my parents need strong passwords, but they're not going to know how to use technology, it is totally fine to have a book. Like have them write it down and put it next to their like desktop computers. But at least identify like the key accounts like banking or healthcare or social media for younger generation, and at least have strong passwords for those. You don't need it for every single one, but have strong passwords for those. And then the second is to turn on multi-factor authentication.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
You just said that you have something. What is your password keeper? Which
Yeah, I mean,
software
there's
do
a
you use?
lot of really good password managers. There's one called
Mhm.
Keeper Security that I love, and there's also one password. So I use both because I had one and then
Yeah.
I bought another one. Don't do both. You don't need to do both. But I mean, there's a lot of, I would use Keeper Security or one password. Some of them aren't as secure, so I will leave it at that. But yeah, one password and Keeper Security are amazing. And then yeah, I mean it's simple because it generates like you can say like how many characters you want, like if you want special characters, if you want capitals or whatever's, and then it like automatically generates and then automatically like saves it for like let's say you wanted to do Amazon, you can like it'll save your email, it'll save your new password, and it will assign it to Amazon. And now it's even integrated into your phone. So like I use my iPhone, and iPhone also has a passwords tool. So you can use the passwords one. As a cybersecurity expert, I don't like to put all my eggs in one basket just in case my Apple gets hacked. I don't want all my passwords to also get hacked. So I have it separate. But if you want it to be easy, just put it in, have a very strong password for your Apple password and put it all in
Well,
Apple.
you also, there was something that I saw that you were on some show and it said you could even do a sentence that is just meaningful to you.
Yeah.
That was so interesting. It's a sentence that maybe like you always say and just, but do you want to have not just words, but kind of the exclamation, numbers? Do you have to have all 3?
I mean, I would have at least a number and at least like some type of special character. But if you have like a sentence, you're gonna have a special character anyways at the end or like in the middle or something. Or if you have like, 2 short sentences or like something interesting, that's what I would do. I mean, I have
Okay,
yeah,
so going into the second one.
yeah.
What's the second
The
tip?
second tip is multi-factor authentication, which means that you are signing in 2 different ways, like not just your password, but like a code. And most people get that code sent to their phone, like their like a text message, or sent to their email, or you can do authenticator app. Now, as a cybersecurity expert, well, first of all, get a code no matter what. I don't really care where you send it. As a cyber expert, the best option is authenticator app because a lot of people have like SIM swap phone issues, or your email could already be compromised. And at that point, then it's really easy for them to get that second form of code. So they can't get into your authenticator app unless they're on your actual physical phone, which is why the authenticator app code is better. But again, the percentage of that actually happening is low. So I would just, as long as you have a code, I would, that's all that matters.
Got it. And so there's like Google
Yeah,
Authenticator.
there's Google, there's
That's,
Microsoft. It doesn't matter which one, honestly.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter which. Okay, good. All right,
And then
number 3.
number 3 is software updates, which everyone always wants to argue with me on, because of there was I think like 10 years ago, iPhone had some lawsuit against them saying that they updated they software updated their phones right before the new phone came out to slow down their old phones, which they had a huge lawsuit and they lost. That doesn't happen. Most software updates are literally fixing critical issues and holes for any app or software that you have on your phone. Even like connected devices, right? Like if you get a computer, or not a computer, a printer, and you set it up on your home network and there's a hole in your printer, like they can get in other, like there's ways that they can get in. So just turn on automatic updates. It's not that hard. When you're installing anything, any app, just press like auto update. It takes like 2 seconds and it will automatically update.
Makes total sense. Hadn't even thought about that.
Yeah. And so that's the third one. Again, all these are like like it doesn't take that long. It's just like a little, like a switch. And the last one, which is a little bit more difficult, is just to think twice before you click on any link. Like take 9 seconds and really think, like, because a lot of times like hacking and everything is more, it's all mental. Like everything that they do is like I actually was talking to a psychologist and we're trying to work together on figuring out ways to train people on how to just not click or like fall for scams. But the issue is the reason why we keep having scams is because we've not addressed it from a psychological standpoint. We're addressing it from like shove information down people's throats. And that's not really going to work, because when you are actually in the scam, they've hijacked your amygdala. You're just putty to them. So I always try to tell people, and again, it's different in the scenario, but like, don't act urgently. If like you feel like you're like, in the middle of something crazy, just like take a step back, because you'll start realizing all the red flags once you take a step back and breathe. But yeah, so just like really think twice. I always just don't click on links in general, but I know that is not the most ideal thing to say because everyone, or whatever. So just take 9 seconds. You can hover over a link. It'll show you where it's actually going. Like just take a step back from the situation and then realize what's going on.
Well, Kaylin, you said something super important, that it goes right to the amygdala. Amygdala is the fear center. So they literally target that for you. Like, oh, what's happening?
Yeah.
I need to figure this out. I need to solve this. They're going into my bank account. One of the things that I watched that you said that I found really interesting, and I'm like, oh my God, Hilary, you do this, is that you're at a airport. And I'm on planes all the time. I'm flying everywhere. And I go onto the free Wi-Fi.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not just online shopping that I do. It's sometimes like I'm going in and paying bills and I'm like trying to get things like taken care of. Tell us why that is the worst thing you should be doing.
Yeah. So the reason why I didn't put VPN would be like number 5 at the top. If you're in the US, pretty much, even if it's a free Wi-Fi, because our websites now are significantly more secure than they were 5 to 10 years ago, it's not as big of a risk in the US. Because if you look at any website, even like banks, I mean, to be fair, blanket statement, I don't go on like any of my banking. I don't log into any of my banking or anything without a virtual private network, which means that it's encrypting your network to wherever you're going to make sure that no one can like hijack whatever information you have to think when you go on a website, right? And you're typing stuff in, you are literally physically sending whatever you're typing to that other website. And if it's being public, it's not normally encrypted, right? Especially in other countries. However, if you're on a website that is HTTPS, the S stands for secure. Now, 10 years ago, there was no S. It would just be http.com. or www.whatever.com. Now that there's the S, it is secure, a lot more secure. Now, if you go to other countries, I would suggest that you get a VPN. In the US, and I've talked to many hackers, they're like, it's like, I'll pay you money if you can, break into my bank, even on public Wi-Fi. Because most banks now, I mean, legally they should be secure. I'm pretty sure they have to legally be secure, but it's still encrypted. However, I still don't do I'm not logging into like banks and, paying with credit cards. I'm just extra precautious, but yeah, if you're on public Wi-Fi and you really want to do that stuff, especially if you're abroad, what I would do is get a virtual private network or a VPN. And, that just makes it encrypted. It's like going through an encrypted channel. So yeah, that's another.
Well, I think one of the things you said, especially because right now online shopping is so huge. And if you've got a little downtime, why not be scrolling through but what you're saying is like, just wait to put your credit card in until you get back home.
Yeah.
Like kind of keep it up and flag it and you like it and write a little note, like I want to get this, but don't do it right then and there.
Right. And and that's like, So you can do it. What I would do if you really needed to buy something is like use like Apple Pay on your phone. Because there's like, if you don't actually physically have to type in all the stuff, like Apple Pay is
Mm.
very interesting, or I think like Google Pay is also probably similar or anything like that. It kind of creates a fingerprint. Like I'm trying to explain, like, figure out the best way to explain it. It kind of creates a fingerprint for like, hey, confirming that this is the thing, but they're not sending every single character of your credit card to that site. They're just like confirming in a different way, like using a different type of key to confirm that that's your credit card.
Got it. But a lot of us have every, one of our credit cards, it's actually saved on your phone and you just kind of, oh, I'll go this one. I'll use
Yeah.
this one. And that is not encrypted.
No, that is encrypted. So Apple Pay is actually
Oh,
pretty good.
so when it drops down and it says which credit card,
Oh,
that's actually okay.
Oh no, so I'm talking about Apple Pay. The drop down of the credit card,
Yeah.
I would actually not store any credit card details on your browser, which is what you're talking about. So when you're going on your computer and like automatically your browser automatically saves the credit card if you say save, I wouldn't do that. Oh.
Hmm.
Okay. But it's
So
not
this
bad.
has
It's
been-
not the worst thing.
This is so enlightening. There's so many like nuggets here,
Yeah.
so many pearls, I like to call them. But let me ask you, when you're picturing you in the future, what is this next relaunch that you're thinking like, this is where I'm going?
Yeah. It's funny that you asked that because I'm still working on it. Like again, family's a big thing for me. So like I really want to like start my own family soon and like have more free time. Cybersecurity Girl has been amazing. I absolutely love what I do. So me working doesn't feel like working at all. And it's kind of caused a little bit of an issue because I'm like, well, because I love it, I want to keep doing it. And I'm like, again, ignoring like other personal things that I would also want to do. So I think Cybersecurity Girl is a global brand already. And ideally I want it to be like the education for everyone. Like I want to figure out ways to like bring it to as many people as possible. But I also want to spend time like building my family and a personal life. And like, to me, I think I get a lot from corporate. I get a lot from like working, but I think what would like fully fuel me is to like have a family. And I don't know that yet because I don't have one. But I think that's kind of where I want to go is like, I want to continue to build this global brand. I don't know where that takes me. But I also want to build like a family and like have my own little family unit. So it's kind of where I'm at.
You need to be, I don't believe in vision boards or the idea around dream boards. It's the believe it board that really takes what you just said, the dreams, the, emotional connection, that lightning bolt moment, and like takes this visual representation to the next level. So I'm going to share with you more about that after we're done. But Caitlin, your story reminds us that, the richest life isn't about building wealth. It's about being safe, having the freedom, the peace, and it comes from the inside out. And what you're doing, you've shown that cybersecurity, it's not a job. It's this mindset that you don't have to be afraid. And one that actually, this mindset that protects not just our data, but it's like being okay. And like you have your dignity. You're not, it's an energy, like kind of build up, like you're building up this incredible energy by knowing these things.
Yeah.
And so anyone listening, maybe it's time to check your own systems, to go back and like just go through the 4 or 5 points that we did, because this is how you will feel. You actually can put your shoulders back. It's like your future identity is one that like, people are so adverse to technology. I don't know tech, but in reality, you can become cyber safe. Mm-hmm. And just by following Cybersecurity Girl, you're going to learn so much. So again, Caitlin, thank you for being here and for literally sharing with us some of these like key takeaways. And you said, doesn't take long.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it. It's been amazing.
It was amazing. I loved having you and I'd love to have you back.
Yes.
You take care.